Hi, kindergarten. How was your weekend? Did you have a good day? Happy Monday. It's so nice to see you again. We're going to work on math again today. We need our packets, page 267 and 264. And to start with, I have some boxes and I have a couple questions for you. So what are some things that you could measure about this box? What are things that we could measure? Well, first we could measure how tall it is, right? We could measure that from the bottom to the top. We could also measure how wide it is, and that's called the width. Can you say width? Width. Not width, width. It's kind of like a thicker th. And so we can measure that from side to side. But there's one more thing that we could measure. Do you know what it's called? Starts with an L. It's called the length. Length. And it runs along the edge side. So we have the height, how tall it is, the width, how wide it is, and the length, how long it is. So I have this box, but I also have this box. So could you take your fingers and show me how could I find the height of this box? The height. I can measure how tall it is, right, going up and down. And how can I measure the width? Side to side, you're right, how wide it is. And what about the length? All the way from front to back, the edge side. Good job. So the height, the width, and the length. Now, out of these two boxes, which one is bigger? This Amazon box is bigger, you're right. And if I were to put some marbles in each of the box and fill it up all the way, which box do you think could hold more marbles? What do you think? I think the Amazon box, yeah. This could probably hold a lot more marbles than my little box. Now, which one might be heavier? Which box would be heavier if I filled it with all of those marbles? This one, right? Because I'm putting more marbles in, and so it's going to feel heavier. Do you know how I could measure how heavy it feels? I can think of two ways. One way is just by holding it in your hands. You can feel that this will probably feel lighter, and this one might be really heavy, right? Or you can use something called a scale, and you can put it on, and it will tell you with numbers how many ounces or pounds this might weigh. So we talked about the height, the width, the length, and also the weight, right? How heavy it is. All right. Okay, so first what I want you to do is I want you to make a dot pattern for just showing two dots. Can you show me what two dots looks like? Here are my two dots. And now I want you to add two dots below. Can you add two dots below? Does yours look like mine? Good. So what dot pattern do we have now? We have the dot pattern for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What number is the same as 2 plus 2? 4. 2 plus 2 equals 4. I started with 2, I added 2 more, and now I have 4 dots. Now I want you to add one more dot in the center of your dot pattern. So let's do that together. Okay, what dot pattern do you have now? The dot pattern for 5, right? What number is 4 plus 1? 5. 4 plus 1 equals 5. Now I want you to remove 3 dots. So take away 3 dots. What dot pattern do we have now? 2. What number is 5 minus 3? 2. We started with 5 dots, and we took away 3, and now we have 2. Now I want you to take away 2 dots. What pattern do we have now? None. 0. So what's 2 minus 2? 0. Good job. Now on that same paper, we're going to write some more numbers. But first, let's practice saying them. Let's count together by tens all the way to 50, okay? Ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Good job. Now let's practice writing those on our paper. So let's start with 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Good job. Now I have a story to read or to tell you, and so I want you to listen closely. Farmer Brown depends on good weather conditions in order to have a good harvest of fruit, vegetables, and food for his animals. His plants need warm days and plenty of rain in the spring. They need plenty of warm sunny days during the summer and those cooler days during the autumn. God made a promise after destroying the earth with a flood that while the earth remained, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. And cease means to stop. So who do you think is in control of the weather? God, you're right. He is in control of the weather. And today we're going to be talking about weather and how we can measure the weather that God controls. And so we're going to be using some thermometers. Can you say thermometer? Thermometer, it's a big word. And that's a tool for measuring temperature. So now we're going to talk about the temperature and the thermometer that we're going to use to measure the temperature. There's a lot of different kinds of thermometers. There's thermometers to take your body temperature if you're not feeling that good. There's thermometers to measure food, like if you're baking a turkey for Thanksgiving, you want to put a thermometer in to make sure it's cooked. And then this is a thermometer that we use to measure the temperature. So if you've seen the thermometers that I drew, there's a red liquid inside, and there's a bunch of numbers and lines on one side, and that tells us how much of this red liquid is inside and how tall it is. And if the red liquid goes high, if it's taller on the thermometer, that means it's really hot outside. But if it's kind of low or it's lower, that means it's cold. So if I had a thermometer and it was right in the middle, that's probably a beautiful day. It's probably really nice to go outside. If it's all the way to the top, whew, that's a hot day. You're gonna be sweating. Everybody go like this. Whew. And if it's down at the bottom, oh, you're gonna be so cold. Everybody shiver, 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 shiver. Yes, so our thermometer can tell us the temperature outside. Let's take a look at this thermometer. Now I want you to look closely. Is the red liquid inside, is it closer to the top or the bottom? It's closer to the top, exactly. And what does a thermometer with a tall tower of that red liquid tell us about the temperature outside? Do you remember? It's hot, right? It's really hot. What are some activities that you might do when it's really hot outside? Maybe you go swimming, maybe you go to the beach, maybe you go for a bike ride to get the breeze in your face, or maybe sometimes it's so hot that you stay inside, right? Exactly. Now, let's take a look at this thermometer. What kind of weather do you think is outside if our thermometer looks like this? It's probably cold, right? Because the red liquid inside is closer to the bottom. That means it's cold outside. we don't get a lot of snow here, but some places get really cold and they get a lot of snow. And so what are some things that you might be doing if it's cold outside? Maybe you go to the mountains, you go for a hike, you make sure you wear your sweater, right? Sometimes you can run and it heats up your body. And if you're inside, you probably want to turn the heater on to get nice and toasty, right? This is when we wear our jackets outside. So now let's look at our packet pages on page 267. And there's some yellow and blue boxes, right, with Farmer Brown. Now, the instructions say, circle the picture that shows cold weather. So what are you going to do to the picture that shows cold weather? What are you going to do? Circle it, exactly. And it says, put an X on the picture that shows hot weather. What are you going to do for the picture that shows hot weather? X. Good job. So I'm going to do the first one with you. Let's look at these two pictures. Which one do you think shows hot weather? Hot. I think maybe this one. I see the sunshine out. It's bright and yellow on the farm. And if I look at this one, it kind of looks like snow, right? Even though the sun is out, it still looks like snow. So I think this is probably the cold one and this is the hot one. So which one do you think I should put an X on? This one. Yep, we're going to put an X through the hot weather. And we're going to do what toward cold weather? Circle the cold weather. Good job. Can you finish the next two on your own? On the next page, we have to mark the correct thermometer. So you see how there's two bubbles next to the thermometer? You have to fill it in with your pencil to which thermometer is the correct one. So what kind of weather does this look like? It looks like cold weather to me. I see some snow and it looks like a frozen lake. So which thermometer shows cold weather? Cold weather. This one, right? When the red liquid is low, that shows cold weather. So take your pencil and color in that bubble. Okay? And finish those boxes on your own. And then for the very end, it says write the number that matches each dot pattern. So we practiced our dot patterns earlier. In this dot pattern, how many do we see? 2. So all you have to do is write the number 2 underneath it, okay? All right, finish this all on your own. I think you can do it, and I will see you tomorrow, okay? Bye, friends.